Welcome everyone for this online wave. Today is December 7th and it's, I don't know anymore what number this online wave is, but we're very happy that tonight we have our guest speaker, Yvonne Keijzers. She's the founder of one of our partners, Future Builders. She will probably tell you a little bit more about that. She will talk about circular economy. Well, my name is Ingun Bol, and I will tell you a little bit more about Female Wave of Change, your host for tonight, and who we are and why we're doing these online waves. So the Female Wave of Change, we only started in the beginning of 2017. And why? Because Female Wave of Change has a mission to create and grow the group of female leaders, of feminine leaders and change makers. Women who take responsibility to build the future of their families, their communities, and the world, to make it a better place. You know, that's something that we all want. We offer women of all walks of life a platform where awareness will be created that women are responsible for their own future and will be inspired to take action and make change happen together. Very important. So how? By connecting on a heart-to-heart level and by building bridges, not building walls, but building bridges. We will be sharing knowledge and experience. You know, sharing is very much a feminine value. So share knowledge and experience and wisdom, building, embrace change and transform it into new opportunities together. You know, there will be a world out there. There is a world out there that is changing really rapidly, and we can sit back and wait for things to happen, or we can create things that will happen, and we can create those things together on a global level. So we're connecting, building our network. How? On Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram and YouTube. You can find us there. Please link, share, comment. We love your we love your feedback. We inspire, we share knowledge and experience, and we do that during our online waves every week. And we have those online waves from different areas in the world. We think that is very important. So if you are from whatever part of the world and you have inspiring speakers, please connect with us, and we give them the stage so they can share their story or share their experience, share their business, whatever. But get in touch and we will give them the platform. We want to create new opportunities. Well, we're really working hard on that. We are creating right now mastermind groups on certain challenges that we will be facing in the future or are already facing. We're working on cross-cultural and cross-border teams and to find solutions for the challenges that we will be facing. We will be working on Part Up, and once that you are part of one of those mastermind groups, we will show you how this works and how to get the things done. So this is also why we share knowledge and experience. You know, we want experienced entrepreneurs, experienced women from all walks of life. We want them to share their knowledge, and you can use that later on creating your own opportunities. So what I will do for now is stop sharing my screen and hand it over to Yvonne Keijzers, founder of Future Builders. And please introduce yourself and well, ask questions and whatever. We will be part of everything that you have to share. You will have to unmute yourself, Yvonne.
Yes, now it's working, I think. Yes. Thank you, Ingun, for this opportunity to share knowledge and to participate in this online wave. Thank you very much. My name is, as you have mentioned, Yvonne Keijzers. I'm an independent professional in the Netherlands. I'm working on projects around communication and projects on sustainability and circular economy. And for tonight, I really want to share with you the, yes, here it is, some things I have done recently around circular economy. And of course, I want to introduce myself with the Future Builders Network. But I also want to tell you something about Nijmegen Green Capital. Nijmegen, the city where I live, is the Green Capital of Europe in 2018. And as a group of people, we created the Green Capital Challenges. That's also something I'd like to share. And of course, I want to talk about the circular economy. That's one of the challenges we are working on, and we have made some beautiful projects I'd love to share with you. And of course, and maybe that's the most important part of tonight, I want to have an open dialogue and talk to you about the projects you are doing and the questions you are having. So please feel free to ask questions in the chat box, and I will answer them as good as I can. So the Future Builders Network. I've started the Future Builders Network together with Ingrid Kerkvliet, my partner, at the beginning of 2017. We launched this network, and it is a local network in the city of Nijmegen, where I live. We have about 170,000 citizens. And our experience was that there are a lot of women who are working on innovative and sustainable projects, but a lot of the times they don't know each other, and we see that women are not have difficulties to make themselves visible. So we want to help them and to share knowledge and to give them support. So we started this network, and already we have more than 30 participants. And the beauty of our network is that the range is from the top level board of the biggest university and hospital in Nijmegen to students, and the connections we are making are beautiful. So I'm really pleased about that. So that's our network. And Ingun, you mentioned the creation of the cooperation and the sharing of knowledge, and that's something I can really relate to, because that's also one of our biggest goals for our network. The city of Nijmegen, I've told you a little bit about it. It's a city we have near a river, the Waal. We have 170,000 inhabitants. And in 2018, Nijmegen is selected as the Green Capital of Europe. It's a prize for all of 2018. So it's a big prize and a big project. And Nijmegen really loves to share their visions and their experiences with other cities in the Netherlands, but also abroad. So if you want to know how Nijmegen has won this prize, what they are doing on this subject, sustainability, please come to Nijmegen in 2018 and visit one of the one of the events that are happening. The whole year there are a lot of events and things happening around Nijmegen. And in January there will be a big opening of 3 days in the museum in the center of the city. But there are also knowledge events, and sharing is also one of the sharing and connecting are also the important goals of this capital year. A group of people from Nijmegen, about 45 I think, they went to the Ljubljana, where the last prize, the jury was, And they we decided we wanted to make it bigger. We wanted to make the green capital a thing that is also important for all the citizens in Nijmegen. So we have thought about how we could reach this goal, and we came up with an idea to launch 12 topics. So each month in 2018, one of the topics is launched, and there are all topics around sustainability. So the first topic is circular economy, and I'm the project manager of that topic. The second one is waste. The third one is biodiversity, mobility, events, sustainable events. There are a lot of events in Nijmegen, so it's important that there is that they are sustainable. Energy consuming. We have water. We have healthcare, and some other challenges that you see around here. At the bottom, you see green money. That's also a theme, but that's a sharing theme as much as education. And on the left side, on the bottom, you see our estafette button. That's an estafette baton, thing that sporters are handing over in an estafette. And that's a beautiful thing, and it's really something to make sustainable visual, because in Nijmegen for the last couple of years, people but also companies and projects who are working on sustainability receive this button, and they can share it with others. And in the button, that's the beauty part of it, there's a USB stick with all the projects that have received this this estafette button. So it's really something to make a sustainability visual in the city, and it's also receiving a lot of publications. So it's a wonderful tool to help sustainability. The topic circular economy. I'm the project manager of this topic, and we are doing quite a few wonderful things, I think, with a team of people. We work on this, but firstly, I want to talk with you about why circular economy is important. Why should you care about circular economy? And well, this image is one of the things. It says it all. In 2012, we had 7 billion people. In 2046, there will be 9 billion people. And you can imagine if all those people are growing in wealth, they want to buy stuff, they want to buy cars, they want to buy smartphones, laptops, and it's really has a great impact on the raw materials in our lives. So it is very important that we recycle our raw materials so we can reuse them as much as possible. Also, a very important driver of circular economy is the awareness of raw materials. And if you look at this chart, you can see that, for instance, indium that is used in solar panels, there isn't much going around. There isn't much left for people. So that's one of the toughest things. And another one is the geopolitical topic, because a lot of these rare materials are in the hands of a couple of countries. For instance, China has 79% of the rare materials. So if China says, okay, we won't let you use these materials, we have a big problem. So it's very important for for Europe to make sure we can reuse materials, so we don't are dependent on other countries. So that's also one of the drivers. And here you can see the world growth and consumption of principal raw materials. And well, just take a look at the population growth during this period, 1961, that's my birth year, and until 2012, that's 2.28. But if you look at plastic, for instance, that's really a huge figure. If you look at aluminium or cement, that's really a big figure. And there were every year we use so much materials that the earth is finished earlier. So in 2017, the Netherlands used so much materials that we finished our percentage of what we should be using in August. So the rest of the year we are digging in on the reserves of the earth, and that's really a big problem, and most of the Western worlds are doing this. So that's really a big problem for the world as a whole. Another issue, which is not really directly related to circular economy, but an issue I think it's very important, is climate change. I'm sure everybody has heard about this, but in my view, you cannot work on circular economy without keeping in mind that you have to work on climate change as well. So you have to work with new business models, with energy saving projects. So otherwise, you're working on projects on circular economy that doesn't really fit the whole idea. Well, all of this is, of course, is related to the sustainable goals of the United Nations, as your projects also are, Ingun. So this is also for me very important to relate to these goals. So circular economy is a new way of production and consumption. As you look at this slide, you see what we are doing now is the linear economy. We are going from resource extraction to production, to distribution, consumption, and then waste. We just dump it. We buy something, we use it, and we dump it. And that's what is happening in almost everywhere in the world. And what we have to do is to come up with the ideas of a circular economy. And that's meaning that we are making a circle of the products in the whole chain. So not only for the citizens and not only for the company, not only for the distributors, but as a whole. And that is really a big challenge. But in some cases, it is already working, and I will tell you something about that. But it is important to keep the products, the parts of the products, so that we can reuse them in any time. You can see an example here. This is a car that has been designed in this way that you can recycle all the different elements. So Renault, one of the car manufacturers, this isn't Renault, but Renault is working hard on this model. It's one of the top leaders in circular economy, and they have already managed to have 80% of their parts to be reused in other cars. So they can collect all the different parts of cars, and there are a lot of them, as you can see. So it is really another way of designing products, and that is one of the the things you have to start with the design of products. How do you make a product, and what's happening after somebody has used it, and how easy is it to take things apart and then reuse certain parts of this product. It's really a key issue of circular economy. Circular economy is about two loops. There are, on the right side, you see this loop. This is the technical loop. This is about your washing machine. It's about your smartphone. It's about your television with the electronic parts. And you can, in circular economy, you try to close the loops so that every product and every circle in every part of the chain is recollected and then reused again. The left side, this one, this is nature, the cycle of nature of bio-based materials, and that's also a circle that a loop that you can use. You can for many materials are now replaceable with bio-based materials. Think of bioplastics. And in the bio-based loop, it is also possible that you use products that you can throw away after you use the product, or even that you enhance the soil with the product. For instance, Nike has made a sneaker that you can dig in the ground and it's going to disappear, but it's also enhancing the soil. So that's also possible. It's a bit of a technical slide, but it's really the principle of circular economy. And this is about the way that the parts are going. So you're going from the manufacturer until the user, consumer, and you also have to be sure that your energy is sustainable. What is happening right now, we see the value of raw materials, and that hasn't happened for a long time. We never saw the worth of raw materials, but now something is changing, and you see this type of companies coming up. So for 5 or 7 years ago, you bought a smartphone, and when you didn't use it anymore, you just dropped you just put it in a bin, or you gave it away or something like that. But now you can make money out of selling your mobile phone. So that's something that is changing. You see projects on city mining. This city mining is you're collecting materials from the city, and with that stuff you're making new products, and that is something that we are doing in the challenge. So now I'm coming back to the Green Capital challenges. With a team of people, we were starting to think about what is happening in the city, what is waste where people don't care about, and waste that has been lying around in the houses for a couple of years. And we came up with the idea of electronic waste. And after a few brainstorm sessions, a beautiful design was made by Hugo van der Kalle. He's an industrial designer, and he made this city furniture. And you can see this is plastic, and then this plastic is made out of the housing of computers, of smartphones, of your old hair dryer, name it. And we collect the electronics by students, by pupils on schools. So we have projects on schools. We ask children to bring electronic waste to their schools. This is collected, and then all the parts are ripped apart, and from the housing of the computers and the smartphones, we make this city furniture. You can also see this is a trash bin. You can just throw waste in it. But in the Netherlands, it's important. It's also a thing where you can park your bike. And the designer came up with this idea because we have a lot of nature around Nijmegen, and people are throwing waste all around the place. And this is made in this way so that people can park their bike in this trash bin, and when they come back, they don't want to go to their bike, they want to go home, and then they can throw their waste in the bin. So that is really a handy tool to make. This is of course it's a circular design, so every part you can reuse, you can collect and reuse, but also you can take these plastic parts and put it in here. So it's you can use it both ways. Another part of circular economy that's really important is the transition from possession to use, and that is something that Turn2 company has made alive in their company. And you can think about why do you want to possess furniture? Why do you want to possess a table? If you also can use the table and pay for the uses of this. Excuse me. The same goes for lighting. Why do you want to buy a lamp if you also can buy light years or light hours? Why do you have to pay for a carpet if you also can pay for the right to walk on something? And this is really a great idea, and it's really a transition in the way of thinking about how we handle stuff, and how we make how we handle stuff, and how we can use our consumer goods. And what we are doing in Nijmegen, we are building, or we are decorating. We are not building, we are decorating a model house for circular economy. And one of the things we are doing here is, for instance, we are decorating it with a carpet from Interface. And Interface is a carpet company that makes use of fish nets from the Philippines. They collect the fishing nets. They pay the fishermen for this. So the fishermen don't throw the fishing nets in the sea, but they collect it. And they reuse the fishing nets into their carpets. So that's really a way of thinking about new ways of finding materials. Also, Auping, it's a bed manufacturer. They reuse their mattresses. So they really take it all apart until you have the fibers, and from these fibers they are building new mattresses. And we also show this in this house. It's a social community house. It's a small house, but it's really important because in this house we let people see how circular economy is looking like. What it is looking like. So we have IKEA is participating with a couch with a textile that is made of PET bottles, but also with a proof of banana leaves, banana leaves. And we have a lamp that's made of old paper, lamps that are made of CDs, all kind of things to make people aware of what is circular economy all about. So in 2018, this house is open for everybody to visit, and they get a tour, and we have information about all the products we are displaying there. There's also, for instance, a washing machine where you can not buy, you're not buying the washing machine, but you pay for the washing. For every time you have to wash, you pay a little amount. So that's really new kind of business models that are really key for the circular economy. So that was my presentation. I hope you have some questions. I hope you can tell me about the things you are doing, and if you want to contact me, you can see my Twitter contact in the slides. I see you talking, Inger, but I don't hear you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your presentation. For now, I would like to ask you to stop sharing your screen so we get all the participants online, and I think there will be some questions. Well, I have one for you. Mm-hmm. Start with, so the others can think about what they will be sharing with you. Well, you know that the Female Wave of Change embraces the global goals for sustainable development 2030. Yeah. So it's global goals to have less waste and things like that. So it's very important, I think, because we have our mission to create a better world. So we really need things like that. We don't need all this waste. What do you think that we can suggest now for all the women who follow us, the Female Wave of Change, what they can start doing today to have less waste, or to buy products that really support your goals?
Yeah. Well, talking about less waste, a friend of mine has made a trip for 4 months all around Europe, into Russia, Turkey, and back. And she decided to carry her own waste. And in the end, she had 2 bottles with very little waste, because it forced her to think about how to handle all the waste you make. So I think, and it goes for people, it goes also for governments. It starts with buying. If you buy something, just look at the product, look at what it's made of, look if it can be recycled or not, and ask the supplier, ask these questions, and ask for products that are bio-based, or that are environmental healthy. So that's something everybody can do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Someone else. There, Stavelo. Do you have any network in South Africa? And if not, how can I support in creating the network? Mm-hmm.
I don't have a network in South Africa at all. Yes, I would very much like to share this story in South Africa, and I think it's very important for South Africa, but for very much also for other places around the world, to raise awareness on the value of waste and what you can do with it, and the money, the business models that comes around this. So that's really important. And yes, I would be very interested to work with people in South Africa. Sure.
Well, I think step one is made. So we took that one. So we became a partner of Female Wave of Change. And Tabello, it is very much up to you and me and us and everyone working together and creating that network. You know, we want to expand our network into all areas. And since you are in South Africa, we want to expand our network in South Africa. Yeah, you know, and there's so many projects to pick from, but I do believe that everything that involves sustainability is right now is very important. And of course, diversity and you know, and the women gap and things like that is also part of these global goals. But this is also very important. Yeah. So it's very much up to you and me, and you know, connecting and opening our networks and finding the women in South Africa who are already involved. Well, I did get a message from one of the ladies. She was in the wrong time zone, so she was 1 hour too early. Well, she was not in South Africa, but she was in Kenya. And she said, well, this is really something we are involved in. So this you have to send me the recordings. Yeah. Because she really wants to know. So I do know that. And also one of our online waves, Tabello, was done by a project, a woman in South Africa who's doing a project on waste and how to reuse it. In your area, so it's already being done. Yeah. How about someone else? Marloes, I'm sorry. How do you work with companies in your area to get them interested and involved in building a circular economy? Very good question. Yeah. Marloes, if you can, why are you asking? Can you open up your, I unmute and tell us a little bit more about your question.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Well, I'm Dutch. I live in Switzerland, and I have been doing a lot of research around circular economy recently. And I've noticed that in Switzerland there's actually very little activity in relation to this, and there's a lot of it in Holland. Now, there's a reason. The Dutch government made it basically an objective 2050. Yeah. What I'm looking into at the moment is to see if I can build a hub where circular becomes kind of a topic, and there can be a knowledge exchange. There can be, advisory work done for companies or governments who are interested. So one of the things that, I see here is that there is interest in sustainability. Yeah. But it often is very green, and it's very, a little bit alternative. Yeah. And I've read about cases, etc., but it needs to become a business case that is appealing. And so far, I find it hard to really make it very concrete for companies to make it a compelling case. Yeah, that's a good question, because it is really very difficult to make a good business case. That's also something that most companies are struggling with, also the companies that are in the top of their game at the moment. But I think a couple of things are important. First of all, the government
must want this, and as you said, the Dutch government has made it a really big goal for 2050 to have 100% of the products reused in a circular way. So that's a really tough goal. Also, the waste collectors are playing a very important role in this kind of projects, and the companies must be aware that in fact there is little alternative, because when raw materials are used and we don't collect them anymore, at some point the raw materials, the prices will go up, and they will be faced with huge price higher prices. So that's also something, an incentive for companies to start on this. And as you see in the Netherlands, it's very important to have the best practices of company, to let other companies see what is possible on circular economy.
Is it also consumer pressure, Yvonne?
Yeah, for a part it is. I think circular economy is something that most people, they don't even know what the word means, and it doesn't mean anything for them. The house we are decorating, it is in a neighborhood with people who don't care as much about sustainability, we would think. But when I tell them about this house, they say, "Oh, well, this is really important, and it's so great that you're doing this." So you have to bring it to another level and talk about it, and just let people show what is going on. So that's the reason why we are doing these projects, so everybody in this town can see what circular economy is looking like. Yeah. Cradle to cradle buildings are really a great example. In the Netherlands, you have the municipal building of Venlo. That's one of the most cradle to cradle buildings in the world. And yes, that's a good business case.
But and that's where, I don't know if it's okay for me to talk. But, I mean, I was actually in Venlo last week.
Okay.
I visited the building. I work with Turn 2. I have taken them to Switzerland to actually talk about the cases. But for me, the difficulties, which is very different, I think, when you talk to people in developing countries, that there is such a amount of money available that the pressure on businesses in Switzerland is not as much, because they can still afford everything. They have wealth, they have fresh air, they have they don't feel that we're under pressure. And I agree, seeing those cradle to cradle buildings and hearing about products and best practices is one. But interestingly enough, I was working with the mayor of Nijmegen as well, and so with some other people, and then you don't hear anything about circular, although it is Green Capital Europe. There is only so much people can hear. So the question, how do you make it a topic, and where do you start? And for me, that at this moment a little bit my question.
Well, it is one of because the Green Capital Year has 5 topics, and circular economy is one of the topics. So it is a topic, but energy savings is almost top of mind of most governments, I think, because that's also the goal they have to relate to with the Paris deals, with the climate deal. So that's something that everybody is working hard on. But circular economy is something they have to embrace and give. One of the things the government can do is be a launching customer, so that they can, because everybody has to learn by doing and try and fall and try again and fall, and the government can play a very important role in this area by being a launching customer and giving companies the opportunity to try to and don't regulate all things so it strangles the project. That's very important. Yeah. But it's really I think I can imagine in Switzerland where that there are the must of this topic is not as high, not as urgent. Yeah. And then it's difficult. Yeah.
And
but you know what, I think the companies, the family companies in Switzerland, in their heart, they are very sustainable. And
yeah, exactly. So I think that's where I need to start, because government is one, but because of direct democracy, countrywide, nothing will happen. So either I start at the municipal level, so in a city, or I start with small, medium-sized companies where their heart is actually at 2 generations ahead, rather than the profit next quarter. And then it's finding those cases, and of course there are some best practices, but seeing is believing. And in that sense, especially when you talk to governments, I think going to see, or maybe I'm hoping to see if I can get like an architect to Switzerland that is able to win how do you say that, like these a case to build something for the government, so that we can start an example like we have in Venlo here in Switzerland, which then generates a certain demand. But that needs a crazy mayor or a crazy city government that says, I think this is absolutely gorgeous, and a lot of the material that I find is in Dutch, and there's not that much yet in other languages, except obviously C2C stuff from Brown.
Did you take a look at the Ellen MacArthur Foundation?
Yeah,
because there's a lot of material in English, and maybe what's interesting for you, I've developed a kind of quick scan for SMEs, how they can rapidly see what their company, how they can change their company in circular economy. And you can't start by doing everything, so they can start by looking what is their waste and how can they. Sometimes they even don't know they can get paid for their waste, and they just they have a contract with a waste company, and they collect materials that they can be paid for. So these are steps that SMEs are really they find important.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the first step, and from then on you can build on to other steps.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you mentioned Yvonne to step by step and to make mistakes and fall and try again.
Yeah.
Do we have time?
Yes, that's well. I think I hope that people someday people see the urgency of this problem. But that's difficult. Yeah, that's a difficult question, because it's the clock is ticking, and it's especially on climate change. It's going very fast, and it's always worse than we were thinking. So yes, we have to hurry.
Yeah. Well, I do believe the power, and that is also why Female Wave of Change was created, to find all these connections and to speed things up, and to by expanding the network, but also by, and that this is something that we will be working on, that we will speed up that project. We will be working on mastermind groups on challenges that we will be facing, and we want these mastermind groups to be cross-cultural and cross-borders. So we have all this input from women from all over the world, and not just from the Netherlands or from Switzerland or from South Africa. We want it from everywhere, and start working together to find solutions that can speed up the process, instead of only try and fall and try again and fail. Try again, because I do believe that we don't have the time.
No.
And, we really want to speed it up. So what I would like you to do is define a challenge that we can be working on in these mastermind groups, so that we can specifically make a mastermind group within the Female Wave, or on the Female Wave of Change platform, based on circular economy, and define a challenge that we will be facing, but that we can work on together. Yeah? Because that will really be great. I saw that Tabello has already been what is happening. She already found an organization in South Africa, circular
into worth
in the tire industry. Well, it is possible. Absolutely. And I know, Tabello, that there is a project in South Africa. Well, that they're working from of course the poor communities, and they're working on waste projects, and they have the support of the University of Birmingham in the UK. They've been looking into what's the waste and what can we make from it. So they're doing research and helping each other to find solutions to get rid of the waste, huge amounts of waste, but also at the same time give people the opportunity to earn money, and especially women, to give women the opportunity to earn money from whatever they can make from that waste. So it's a great project. Okay. Any more questions?
No, but thank you, and I will think about the challenge.
Yes, that will really be nice. So that we are focused on launching invitations to mastermind groups in the end of this year, beginning of next year. So it will really be great, because this is an item that we really have to work on together. So we have to launch it ASAP.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you, Tabello, Elizabeth, Marloes, and for your questions and your feedback. This is really nice. Well, you opened tonight with, you wanted the dialogue, and I think that is what you get. It doesn't stop here. This is where it starts. So
Okay. Thanks again for the opportunity.
You're welcome. And for the others, we have, there's a partnership with Future Builders, and I really like that, because it is just a small group, compared to we have close partnerships with really huge global organizations. This is a small group, but it's really attacking a major problem in the world right now. So we're very happy that we're working on this, that we can work on this together. So thank you very much, Yvonne, and we'll keep in touch, and thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.
This is recorded, so we will put it online, I think somewhere tomorrow or during the weekend, and we will distribute it, and hope we can reach out to more and more women, and make sure that they know what we will be doing in the mastermind group, and work on this issue together. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, everyone. And next week, there will really be a nice online wave, the 14th of December. Since we only started in January this year, and we have huge plans for the future, there is an online wave on a webinar on the past year. The present, future, we have made great plans. So meet our ambassadors, meet the board members, the inner circle, the wave makers, our partners. There's a lot of people to meet, and we really also want to meet all these women that really want to get involved. So hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.